So this is an Elddis Odyssey 505. It's going to take you around the van and show you how it operates. Front of the van, you've got your hitch, jockey wheel and handbrake. We'll go through this in person here on site. Front of the van, you've got your gas bottle tie downs where you can put two 6 kilogram propane gas bottles, and on the bulkhead you've got your gas regulator itself. On the other side of the van at the front, you've got your wind down legs to stabilise the Caravan, and they are just there for stabilising. You'd never lift the Caravan with the wind down legs, as it could potentially damage the floor of the Caravan. You've then got your heating flue, which you need to remove this white cover every time you ignite anything on gas inside of the Caravan. Essentially that's the exhaust system for the gas system itself. You then got your water pump connection, which pushes into the side of the van. These two little tab here at the top and the bottom locks the pump in place. You've got, as I said, you've got the same on the bottom, and then the pump itself will drop down inside the act roll, and then I'll show you how to fill the water system once we go inside the van. Motor mover and wheel nuts. The motor mover will be demonstrated here on site, and we'll also torque the wheel nuts prior to collection so that they are tight and ready to go. You've then got your toilet flush tanks. You'd open this up and you put 3.5 litres of water in here and a cap full of the pink fluid. Then in the bottom, you've got your toilet waste cassette, which you very simply remove by pulling up the handle below, pulling the cassette towards you. The neck turns out to allow the waste to be tipped away. The yellow cap here is a measure for the blue and pink fluid on board the van, and then you've got a yellow pressure relief button on the back of the cassette, so when you tip the waste away, it doesn't spit and splatter back at you. You put into this cassette 1 litre of water and a capful of the blue fluid prior to use. On the rear of the van on either side, you've got your wind down legs to stabilise the Caravan, and then you've got your grey waste pipes coming out the rear of the van, and then you've got your other wind down leg. Like I said, the wind down legs are only there for stabilising, not for lifting the Caravan. 2 bits of grey pipe will go into the larger diameter holes on the outside, and they'll drop down inside your waste master. Coming down the door side of the Caravan, you've got your fridge vents. The fridge vents are very simply there to allow hot air at the back of the fridge unit and also take some cool air in. And behind here also you've got a gas flue for your gas system for the fridge. Then got your storage area, so you can access the storage underneath the bed. Your battery box, where you put your leisure battery into, and your mains power lead coming out the side of the van, or coming into the side of the van. The blown air system will also come through into the awning if you open this vent up here and slide up the little lever on the opposite side of the van, or on the front of the seating area on this side of the van, sorry. And then your barbecue gas point on the front and your last wind down leg. Going inside the van now. Very simple to use Caravan. Coming down the far end of the Caravan. Just on the side here you have your main master power switch. So once you've got your mains power plugged in, turn the switch on and it'll bring up the voltmeter here in the centre. And it'll also put power to your heating and hot water, etc. But I'll go through those in a moment. Now, to fill the water system on board the van, first thing you're going to do is come underneath the seat on the right hand side at the front. Underneath the seat there's a yellow drain down valve. That yellow drain down valve needs to be parallel with the floor prior to filling the water system. So as it is now, you'd be able to fill the system. If that valve was upright, pointing towards the bottom of the seat, you'd actually drain all the water out of the system on board the van. So like I said, parallel with the floor to fill the system up. Once that valve is parallel with the floor, you'll come over to every tap, or the 2 taps on board the Caravan, and open them up both on the hot side. So as you can see, I've already filled the water system, but normally when you open these taps for the first time, there'll be no water in the system. Once you've opened that tap up, and you've also opened the shower tap up, or the sink shower tap, and there's water coming out there as well, you'll then come to the control panel down the other end, and turn on the water pump just here. So that's your water pump switch. You turn that on and the water system will start filling, which as you can see it is doing. The water system as it is now is completely full, so once we're at that stage we can shut every tap on board the Caravan. And once the water system's full, you can actually then start warming the water on board the van. So 2 ways of doing that on board this van. You've got gas or electric. Down here below the seat on the right hand side, you've got the switch here, which is your electric water heating. preset temperature of around 35 to 40 degrees. So that's your electric water heating. Will kick in and out as it needs to, however it doesn't boost. You have to use the gas water heating to boost the water system itself. So to do that, we'll come over to the control panels, just above the main control panel for the van, and you have two options up here. You have Ultra Store on the left hand side, which is your gas water heating, so think of it as Water Store rather than Ultra Store. Then on the right hand side, you have your Ultra Heat as well. I'll go through that in a moment. To get the water system to ignite on gas, you make sure the gas is turned on in the front locker. Before you do that, before you go to try and ignite this, I would advise you go to the hob. Make sure the gas is through to the hob first, because that is the last point on the gas system. Once you're at that point, you'll get the grey dial on the outside. Spin the dial around. The green light will appear just behind here, and that is essentially your pilot light. In a moment it will fail because we haven't got a gas bottle on board the van at the moment, and you'll get a red light appear, as you can see, which indicates to me it has failed to ignite on gas. If that green light was solid on its own, you could then spin the dial round to the temperature you wanted the water to be on gas, and you can fully control that by the dial just here. Whatever numbers above the green light is essentially the temperature the water heater is going to warm up to. To isolate the gas supply, you'll spin the dial back round to the off position, and that will turn the gas supply off completely to the water heater. The dial to the right you see here is actually for your electric heating on board the Caravan, so the heater just down here, and the heat actually gets controlled through this control panel. So you'll spin this dial round to between 500, 1,000 or 2,000, depending on what Caravan site you're on. Here on site we can run a maximum of 500 watts, that's what we've got it set to. And then when it's just turned on, you can control the temperature of the heater on the dial in the centre here between 1 and 9. Essentially, the higher you go with this dial, the hotter the heating system will be on electric. Off position, back in the centre here. So that's your heating and hot water on gas, and the heating on electric, should I say. And then the water heating on electric is on this switch down below the seat. Next up, we're going to go to the gas heating for the Caravan. Again, this is very simple to use. You've got the dial here on top that you spin around between 10 and 9. Hold down the gas valve, and then when it has ignited, in this window down the front, you'll have a pilot light. Once that pilot light is lit, you hold down the gas valve for a further 5 to 10 seconds, then slowly release the valve. You can control the temperature of the heater on gas on this dial on top once it has fully ignited. The off position here is the off position for the gas supply. On the opposite side, you've got blown air heating. It works very similar to the heating system you got in your car. So the dot here in the centre will allow the heat to come out the front of the heater. You've then got continuous blown air, so that will essentially now come out all of the vents around the Caravan. And if you want to warm the awning up, slide this dial up, and it'll allow the air to go out into the awning also. On the opposite side, you've got the A here. That is automatic blown air, so essentially that'll allow the thermostat on board the van to kick in and out with the blown air system. So all the blown air heating will kick in and out with the thermostat on board the van, should I say. To control your fan speed, you've got the dial on top here, between 1 and 5. Obviously, the higher you go with that fan speed, the more air will blow around inside the van. The fridge system, very simple to use. You've got a dial on this side with an off position at the top. You've got your mains option, so you use mains 240 for your fridge. So as you can see here, you can then control the temperature of the fridge on the dial on the right hand side here, sorry, up and down depending on where you want the heat to be, how cold you want the fridge to be. You've got 12 volt mode to get the things in the fridge chilled before you arrive on site. So essentially, once you connect to the car at the front of the van, you can connect. Once you connect it up, spin the dial around to the 12 volt mode here, and essentially it'll allow the fridge to work as a cool box from the power supply from the car. To get the fridge to operate on gas, spin the dial to the bottom. Very simple to do. You press in the gas valve, the temperature valve just here, and hit the igniter on the end. When the fridge is ignited on gas, in the back of the fridge, you will see there's a little window just down there, and essentially that is the pilot light for the fridge system itself. So I do apologise about the cleanliness of the van at the moment. It hasn't been cleaned yet, but it will be obviously before you receive the Caravan. Cooker system, very easy to use. Same as your household, no differences at all there. Igniter on the front as you'd expect to see. And like I said, you'd always get the gas through to the hob first before you ignite anything else on gas on board the Caravan. Going into the bathroom and the last part of the system we're going to show you, or the last system we're going to show you on the van, is the pump flush on the toilet system. To get the toilet system to flush, so you pull that handle up and push down to allow the system to flush. The toilet seat does turn for your convenience. However, when you're removing the toilet cassette from underneath the van, you need to make sure it's back in this position, as it has two lockout tabs on the bottom of it. They'll actually stop you from removing the cassette from underneath the van. Toilet waste flap, you need to make sure that toilet flap is open before you use the loo, so the waste goes straight down inside the cassette. When you are finished, we do advise you shut it back up so no smells come back up inside the van. So this is an Elddis Odyssey 505. If you have any further questions on the van, please don't hesitate to call us here at the Caravan Company, and we'd be more than happy to help. We appreciate the business, and we look forward to seeing you here on site soon when you collect your Caravan. Thank you for now. Bye bye.